Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the Weekly Pint. I'm the gnarly Gnome, and even if we are a day later than normal, we're here. We're live. This is not a show. This is a happy hour, an excuse for us to all hang out and have a drink together, even if tonight all you're drinking is sleep. Are you currently asleep while you were watching the show? I get it. What you don't get it. Not being able to edit comments is okay. I get it now. This is what you don't get when you have two sick kids in the house. Yes, I completely understand and relate to that. I don't think both of my kids are sick, but I'm pretty sure the youngest is definitely getting there, and that's just not making me excited about what that means for the coming weeks. If you're new to this, part of the point is to tell us what you're drinking so we can all hang out and pretend that we're drinking together. Not pretend, we are drinking together. That's why Caroline says she is drinking sleep, because because that's what we do here. Josh, however, is drinking an old can of Brink and Listerman's collab O'Cryo. It's not that old, is it? That's not a very old beer. I don't think. Is there a date on it? Because I feel like it wasn't that long ago that I drank some of that. It was good. Although my sense of time is not normal. How's everybody that's chimed in and told us what we're drinking? So I will crack open a beer. I've been waiting to crack this one open all day, all evening, I guess, and managing my children and all of their craziness. And you guys, most of you, know what that is, how fun that is. This is a can of Street Side's Demogorgon, the pecan sea salt. I'll read the full description here in a second, but there it is, the Jaws-themed one. Now, this was not going to be my first pick. However, the bartender, and I have to apologize because I can't remember what his name is. D something. I could probably look it up, but he said this was his favorite one. I love the artwork on all of these. I should have pulled them all in here so I could show off some of the artwork on them. Let's see. Josh says, "Well, a back of the fridge special. Don't see a date." Michael from Adina says it's not that old. Yeah, I really don't think it's that old. I don't remember the dates on them. Let's see. Caroline says, "Is it really that old, though? I drank a barrel-aged braggot from the back of our beer fridge that was older than Lily." It's a braggot, I think, is one of those things that can handle some age. A New England IPA, they're really not meant to age very long, so I guess it's all relative. This one here, though, let me read the full description before I crack it open. I just love the artwork. I've been trying to wrap my head around the idea of not collecting cans the way that I have for the last however many years. And then a series like this comes out that just kind of messes it all up because I just love all of the artwork so much. It says, this is Pecan Sea Salt Demogorgon, a maple bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout with pecans and sea salt. It says, did someone say dessert? Not too salty and not too sweet. All the Demogorgon goodness you know and love with a nutty twist. Pecans came to the party to see what's up and brought their friend Sea Salt along for the ride. They must have had a good time because this Demogorgon is packed with flavor that just can't wait to jump into your glass. All right. I'm also... setup is finally, it's not done. It's never really done, but as of right now, I'm pretty happy with the way things are sitting here, other than the shadow on my face from the microphone, which we can fix. How's that? A little better. I have this really janky little arm holding the camera, though, so if all of a sudden halfway through the show you guys just fall, I'm sorry. Or if you get shaky, like it's a little... I guess it doesn't look bad on the camera there, but it seems very shaky to me. I didn't go through my normal little thing here. So if you guys are new to this, not only do we talk to each other and tell each other what we're drinking, you can take part in the conversation in a bigger way. You could call in if you wanted to, which is always fun. The number is right here on the screen. I always forget which side to point at. 567-70-DRINK, right there, or 567-703-7465. You can call in. You can take part that way, or the way that everybody tends to enjoy more, because it's less invasive. You can just you can type in the chat wherever you are watching the show, and there we go. Let's see. Caroline says the drunk cam. The more we drink, the more likely it is to fall. Maybe. I put it on there. Now, I didn't put the camera on there and leave it on there, but I did attach the arm like about a week ago. And I let it sit there just to make sure it stayed. But again, it wasn't tested with the weight of the camera for that whole time. But I gave it a good shaking and jostling. I think we'll be okay, but I've thought that plenty of times. And as you guys know, chaos seems to be what follows me in everything I do. Can't get through a podcast without any kind of technical difficulties, or a video recording without technical difficulties. Today, we'll get to what I recorded today, but today went pretty smooth, except for the fact that as far as the video part of the podcast, I didn't start recording until 5 minutes into the show, which isn't a big deal because I don't post the full shows as of right now. I'm just posting clips, but there's not going to be any clips from the beginning of the show. I can tell you that because it doesn't exist. So that was my technical difficulties today. All right, let me dive into this. No surprise here. It is dark and black. It's an imperial stout. Tan, little thin tan head on it. It smells roasty. Surprise, surprise. Definitely some chocolate and booze. I'm a big fan of Demogorgon, especially compared to some of the other beers that the breweries, street side specifically, that they do, because I don't like the sweeter stouts. And this typically leans a little more into the drier side as far as stouts go. Don't know what my kid's doing upstairs. I don't know if you guys can hear the thumping. One of these days, I'll get an episode where I can just hang out, record, and peace. Can't they see the on-air light that is behind me in the studio where I'm recording? All right, let me dive into this. I mean, it's definitely got some sweetness, but not in a bad way. The booze, man, holds it all back, and it is definitely chocolatey. But it's sweet and a little bit pastry stout like, but not like. It still finishes kind of dry. I don't get a ton of nuts, and I definitely don't get a ton of salt. This is not what I was expecting from reading that, but not in a bad way. Like that's really good. It is just so boozy. This is 16%, 15.4%. Man, that's a big old beer, you guys. We are definitely getting into the season where things like this are exactly what I want to be drinking. Yeah, this is still definitely a dessert beer. Since I know that the salt is there, I definitely taste it. Kind of on the way it kind of coats my mouth, almost like a salted caramel kind of thing. But I don't know that if you didn't tell me what this was if I would pick that salt out. Like it's not a salty beer. You probably tried. There was definitely a trend a few years back of a lot of places doing like a salted caramel thing. There were several of them that were on shelves and around. A lot of those were definitely salty. They had a saltiness to them you couldn't ignore. And this is definitely not that. Man, I enjoy this a lot. Yeah. I'm really excited to watch how that changes as it warms up, which luckily I'll probably get to do, since usually on the show I don't really get to drink very much while I'm talking. Let's see. Tim says, I had a blast at Demogorgon Day. Then I had fun at Rare Beer Fest. Then I had fun at a Halloween party. Then I didn't have fun for the next morning. I can feel that pain. Although I didn't have that exciting of a day. So I did not go to Demogorgon Day on Demogorgon Day. In my head, I thought, you know what, I probably could make it out there in the morning before Rare Beer Fest. And then I decided against that. It was probably going to be a bad idea to do that, so I didn't. I just went to Rare Beer Fest, then went and grabbed some dinner, then went and grabbed a beer at Cincy Brewing Company, and then a beer up at Third Eye on the way home. So that was my day. So and I had a blast and had just a fine day the next day. As for, so yesterday was Halloween. Normally I get a little toasty for Halloween, and even that didn't really this year. Tim says that the pre-release bottle share was worth the early awakening. I that's one thing that I miss about some of these bottle releases, is those shares beforehand. But it's not the getting up early that's the issue for me. It's just the amount of stuff trying to squeeze it into one day, and kids and life and responsibilities. All of those things seem to get in the way more than anything else. But hopefully I'll be able to make more of an effort. I've got Dark Charge Day on my calendar, although I don't really know how I don't know which way I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'm going to go Friday, because it's the first day of Dark Charge Day, or if I'm going to go Saturday like I always do. I haven't decided yet. I will be going to the... so if you are a Brexton builder, you get a sneak peek at the Dark Charge variants, and get to pre-order before everybody else the day before they go on sale. So I will have a little sneak peek sort of coming at you. If they are releasing them all the day after our sneak peek, I won't be that much of a sneak peek, but I don't know how they're going to do it. The point of this is that I will be going to Dark Charge Day in some fashion. Do you guys want to jump into kind of some of the stuff that I've been working on lately? Do you want to jump into label approvals? I did go ahead and get the label approvals ready to go. You guys tell me where you want to go with this. Or do you just want to talk about Halloween and candy? Because I did discover a new candy this year, which I didn't know that was possible anymore. I don't know how new it is. I don't know if anybody else knows about this. So you guys have had Starburst, of course, the little fruit chews. There is now these Starburst mixes. They're like these, it's like two flavors stuck together. And there's these ones that are like what I haven't looked at the package. Maybe it says on there what the flavor is. I keep saying that it is like blueberry lemonade. And that's what it tastes like. And they are freaking delicious. And neither one of my kids like them, so That's been my go-to this year. In fact, I should have grabbed a handful and sat them down here so I could chew on them while I'm talking on the show. So that's my big excitement from Halloween. I just sat in the driveway, ate Starburst, and drank and smoked cigars next to the fire. And then kept doing that all night long since the game was on. We just drug a TV out into the driveway and sat out there and watched the game. And Caroline says, discovered that if you hand out candy from inside your house, over half of the kids skip your house, even with decorations and lights all over the place. Have so much candy left over. That's interesting. I wonder when that trend kind of started too, because like we've always sat outside, but that's because I like sitting around a fire pit. I like smoking cigars and hanging out outdoors. So we've always just sat out in the driveway since we bought our house. But I remember as a kid, nobody did that. You had to go to everybody and ring the doorbell or knock on the door, and they would come to the door. Everybody. So I don't know when that started. Tim says we had the exact same experience at our house. I feel like it was a little bit lighter this year too. I don't know if that's the same everywhere, but I feel like there weren't as many kids as there have been, which is strange coming out of the COVID years. Coming out of, relax everybody. I know we're not out of it. But it did feel a little less crowded. We'll go ahead and let's jump into label approvals before I jump into some of the stuff that's coming up because it's been like a month since we've done label approvals, so we need to be better about that. I blame all the stuff that's been going on. All right, label approvals. Let's see. I do have this will shrink that down a little bit, and we can pop me up here on the screen. First up, Moozy from Brink. This is obviously not a new beer, but if you look down here on the corner, they put some more medals on the thing. I do find this interesting. So usually when somebody is working with a contract partner, the contract partner is where you'll see the label approval come through from. This one comes through from Brink. I don't know that means anything. The wording on the label is all still the same as it's always been, but it is a little different than I'm used to seeing. But other than that, nothing new here. Up next, some 50 West. This is Slowpoke Chocolate Milk Stout. Again, like as we're heading into this time of year, like these bigger, darker beers just sound perfect to me. Like this beer, I would 100% be itching to drink tonight. I feel like this had a different name before. Colin giving us the baseball updates. I don't. That is the one thing I don't have in the studio currently is a TV. I probably could figure out a way to rig this monitor up here and put the game on there, but I'm not really that much of a baseball guy. So this is so jumping over to speaking of contract partners, the Impact Brewing, which is Taft's contract side of their business. These are some of the labels that came through that. So these are not local brands, and chances are we probably won't really see them on shelves around here. They're just making them for other people, but I still find it interesting just to kind of take some sneak peeks at what they are doing. And this is called Cooks. This is out of a place called Copper Mountain Brewing. I know nothing about them. Never had their beer. But they have just this is the standard lager, and then they also have an ice lager, and then a light lager. So nothing too crazy, but it's what's coming out of Impact right now, as is this stuff. So if you look down at the brewery's label, it doesn't really say much. It says HG Brewing. This is Horny Goat Brewing Company. This is their chocolate peanut butter porter. Sure, sign me up for that. I don't know how I feel about that creepy goat guy looking at me, the horny goat guy. But chocolate porter, again, this time of year, sure, sign me up. This is a World Beer Championship from tastings.com, Platinum Award winner. Caroline says that's an interesting name for a brewery. It is. I think it's even more interesting just because they don't really even put it on the label. Like, they're kind of ashamed of it. So I'm curious. I'd love to hear the story. Here's another one from the Horny Goat Brewing Company. This one is Hopped Up IPA. It's carefully crafted, famously fun. I'm curious to know more about these guys. It doesn't tell me where they are. I'll have to look that up sometime. Colin says, looks like Horny Goat is a subsidiary of Copper Mountain. That's interesting. So this is same guys that do this Cook's Light do the Horny Goat stuff. The horny goat beers. Man, that's weird. One more from Horny Goat, going back to the salted caramel stuff, salted caramel brown ale. Famously fun. Do we know where Copper Mountain Brewing is, by any chance? Karakin. This brings up another kind of topic because they announced today on their social media that they are closing down the restaurant and switching over to being mostly just about events, so weddings and parties and things like that. However, their tap room and bottle shop, I guess, is still going to be open during the week. So I guess you just won't be able to get food, if I'm understanding the post right. So take that for what it is. I know that staffing is causing issues for everybody, but especially the food industry. I assume that that's probably the biggest thing that we can blame for this. But this is their Blaze, which is their agave spirit reposado, so it's aged in bourbon barrels. This doesn't tell me for how long. I didn't pull the label for the back of the bottle. That may have told us how long it was aged for. But they have this one, and then they have the Añejo here too. So aged for a little bit longer. Their Blaze is good. I don't think it's as good as their rum, but it's good if you're looking for a agave spirit here in town. I would probably say, out of the ones that I've had, which I think I've had most all of them, if not all of them, I think this is probably the best agave spirit. Mad Tree Legendary Lager. Some of these aren't that exciting. Not a lot of like new stuff, but this is just a new look for Legendary Lager. This takes the that side of the can with the story itself off of it. I don't know if they're going to move kind of those individual stories onto like the case packaging and off of the cans. That probably makes a little bit of sense. It does. It says make any moment legendary, and it does say rich in story, light in taste. So they are still playing on that story thing, but the story is not featured on the cans anymore. Okay, this is a start of some interesting things. This is a can of Psychopathy. Again, nothing crazy and new that we haven't seen before. However, if you look at the size of this is 19.2 fluid ounces, so those big stovepipe cans. I think they're stovepipes. I think it's what we call them. This is not the only one of these that we're going to see as we roll through these labels, which I assume means that I know that there was some canning or can shortages that people were dealing with for a while. I don't know if this is a response to that, to just start cranking out these large format cans that for a long time nobody was using. I know we saw Urban Artifact do a couple of those recently, and then like I said, we're going to see a couple here. So it is fascinating to me because I don't know how often I want 19.2 ounces of a beer, especially a kind of a big hoppy beer, like an IPA. Now, if it's a light lager or something, maybe. But again, that's me. I'll take 19.2 ounces of an Oktoberfest any day. But I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. More Mad Tree. This is Tree Search number 12. It doesn't tell us a ton about it. American Ale Yeast, Brewer's Malt, Citra Amarillo, and Nelson hops. Okay. Caroline says, who's the guy in the Cincy beer group with the huge hands? Be curious to see what the cans would look like when he's holding them. That's the guy's name. I call him Thumbs because that's like his user handle on a bunch of stuff. His name is Chad. Chad McDevitt, McDermott, something like that. Chad. I've met the guy once. I ran into him at Sam Adams. They were doing some kind of event there, and we were picking some stuff up, and I ran into him there. Really nice guy. Big old hands. I tried to convince him, so I wanted... part of... this basement is not just a studio. Like a very small corner of this basement down here is where I make videos here and take pictures and things like that. The majority of the basement out there is dedicated to recreational drinking, I guess. It is a shrine to all things Cincinnati beer and booze, and I like to hang out and drink, basically. And part of that is all of the little knickknacks and paddywhacks that are around the basement. And I really, really, really wanted to convince the guy with the hands, Chad Thumbs, to make a cast of his hand that, take a beer can and put it in it, and then cast that so it was just a hand in the perfect shape of a beer can, so I could mount it somewhere in the basement and put beers in his hand. So I thought that would be cool. And I told him I would pay him for it, and he kind of laughed about it and then never got back with me. But I really, really do want to do it. I would 100% pay for that, and he should actually sell them on his Instagram or something. I don't know. Anyways, Tree Search number 12. If anybody else has abnormally large hands and wants to cast hands for me, let me know. Or maybe I could have a whole series of them. I could have some massive hands, maybe some people with very tiny hands. That'd be fun. Let's see. Here's another one of those 19.2 ounce cans. This is Tropical Psychopathy. You guys, I'm sure, have tried this. This was a beer that was featured last year at Beer, Booze, and Bonks, which, by the way, tickets are now on sale. Go to thegnarlygnome.com/beerboozebonks for all of that information, including a link to tickets. I think I updated the link if you go to thegnarlygnome.com/tickets. If not, I'll fix it tomorrow and it'll be there. But you can get there from thegnarlygnome.com/beerboozebonks and get your tickets for this year because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast. This beer, I don't think will be there, but it was last year is where I was going with it. Made its debut last year at the festival. I don't know how many beers are going to make their debut at the festival this year. I have this thing this year that I want to make sure that I am confident about every beer that does go on tap, because there were a couple last year that I thought were not great, and that bothered me. They market this thing as the best breweries in Cincinnati pouring the best beers, and then slap my name on it, which if you're going to do that, I have to be able to say that these are all what I would consider beers good enough to be considered the best. We all know my opinion that you can't really call anything the best, but that's a whole different topic. Anyways, Tropical Psychopathy, big old stovepipe can. That, maybe I'm more likely to drink a tropical version than just the regular one, but Caroline says it's still the best beer festival that we've been to. Well, thank you. Here's Rheingeist. This is their barrel-aged cafe ink. I'm assuming we'll probably see some more of these ink labels coming through, maybe. Actually, probably, because they just announced today, I think it was today that they officially announced it, that the same day as Beer, Booze, and Bonks, same as they did last year, they are doing their Inked Festival, which is kind of an ode, of course, to this beer, ink, but then also to tattoos and kind of this whole thing. So you'll probably see a little series of these bottles coming out that day, and some stuff on tap and whatnot. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll try to keep you in the loop. I'll try to put a post up here soon that kind of starts to break all that down and tells you what you can expect. I shouldn't say that yet. I may have something in the works with the folks over at Rheingeist on the brewcast side of things. Maybe. We saw this one a couple weeks ago, and I didn't pull it up and look at the difference. Sometimes we'll see this where you'll see a label come out kind of right after the same label because there's some kind of a small change that's been made. Tim says, was there always a face in the tree? Caroline says, I think so. I don't remember what it feels like a face inside the tree would be on brand. Yeah, there's always been something. I think that... let me look at the original artwork for Psychopathy. I think it's become a little bit more defined. So this here is that's the original Psychopathy tree. A lot of people saw different things in the ink blot. There was not a face purposely on the tree, but since a lot of people saw one, I think they kind of added more of one on the Tropical Psychopathy. But maybe not. Maybe it's just more pronounced. Here, let me look at them next to it, side by side. Okay, so here is regular Psychopathy, the new can. Yeah, it's the same. It is identical, but it does look more face-like on here. Very creepy face too, might I add. And it's definitely more noticeable on that. But yeah, I think it's the identical artwork. It is interesting how people see different things in that, though. All right, what am I looking for? I'm looking for Rheingeist. I want to look at the the label that got through for this before. Beer for Humans. Oh, yeah, this is very different. Okay, so they originally, on the one that got approved a couple weeks ago, it was called an Easy Craft Ale, whereas this is an Easy Hop Ale. That's interesting. Same ABV. And the back is looks a little different. They had it kind of, you can't see that. I'm holding it up like you guys can actually see. There's a little paragraph on the back instead of how this is set up with the two little thingamadoodles. Separate paragraphs, I guess. I need to figuring out all of the setup problems with how I've got this sitting here. Okay, so that's the Beer for Humans. Here's another one of those big stovepipe cans, I believe. Yep, 19.2 fluid ounces up there. This is Juicy Truth. I'm curious to see what this looks like on a big can like that. But again, I don't know that I want an IPA in a big can like this. Why not, not that I love Cheetah, but why not Cheetah or, something like that. One of their lagers. This is one that we also saw come through a couple weeks ago, maybe. Let me pull that one up. It was called Ice Pixel before. Cold IPA. Still a cold IPA, but they just call it Pixel now. I wonder if that was some kind of a trademark issue, because I'm not seeing any other changes other than the name. Cold IPA times 3. Oh, not times 3. When I look down here at this screen, it's a lot smaller, and it looks like it's a cold IPA times 3. When I look up here, I see it's a cold IPA and a little heart. I like cold IPAs. I think the style is strange, and I don't, not loving the idea of calling it a cold IPA, but I get it. Whatever. But I do like the style. I actually like. I think I'm the opposite of the average consumer. If you put a beer on a board in front of me and call it a dry hopped Pilsner or a dry hopped lager, I'm more likely to order that than if you call it a cold IPA, just based on the name. It just doesn't sound as refreshing to me. Here's truth. I'm definitely not drinking a 7.2 ounce or 7.2% ABV, 19.2 ounce stovepipe can on most days. There are those days, but although I'm probably going to sit here and drink a 16 ounce can of a 15.4% Imperial Stout, so. Who am I to say anything? Although I would much rather that be in a smaller format too, so I'm not really that hypocritical. Some of these Urban Artifact ones we've seen, they released them as part of their small batch series already. Buckeye is one of those ones that already came out, I believe. Cherry Cobbler. I didn't get any of these. I haven't been getting the small batch society beers lately just because I can't afford it right now. But this is one of those ones that I'm really kicking myself not having in my fridge because this sounds right up my alley. Cherry, oats, cinnamon, mace, and vanilla beans. Yes, please. That sounds delicious. Josh says, I wonder if these are aimed at stadiums. The 19.2 ounce ones, I don't think so. Possibly. But what do you have to charge at a stadium for 19.2 ounces of a 7% IPA? I don't know. I really think it has to do with a can shortage issue, is my guess, or trying to find other formats to put things in to just get some of that beer out there without all of it having to go into 12-ounce cans. It's my guess. It's strange that we've seen it now from 3 different local breweries right at the same kind of time. None of these are loaded, sorry. Concord Grape, not my thing. Hate Concord grapes. Just tastes like Welch's to me. Colin says, without direct knowledge, it's generally a C-store play. You're going to have to fill us in on what that means. Cranberry sauce fruit tart. I'm fine with that, but Caroline says they wanted to help Shift Beers find better gas station singles. Here is a new artwork for Gadget. We saw when they did those big 19.2 ounce cans of Gadget, they had artwork that was very similar to this, but now they're moving that into their 12 ounce cans, it looks like, too. Colin says that space is generally style agnostic and focused on ABV. New Belgium Ranger Voodoo has shown huge growth in that type of placement. That makes a little bit of sense. But it is so crazy that all of them are hitting this right at the same time. Convenience store, yeah, okay. People buying singles at gas stations and the like. It makes sense, but yeah. Are the majority of those still like those big 19-ounce cans, or are they even those starting to move into 16-ounce cans? Though I have not looked at gas station singles in a while, so I don't know. But in my head, I would think most of them are like 16-ounce cans these days. But maybe I'm wrong. The Shift Beers guys will be the ones to ask about that. Gingerbread fruitcake. Cherry, orange zest, pecan, ginger, oats, dates, and vanilla beans. That sounds like a lot going on, but probably also pretty tasty. Here's Pocket Watch. This is a dark fruit Midwest fruit tart made with black currants, grapes, and plums. Specifically, 17 black currants, 14 grapes, and 1 plum in every can. I love that. I love the way they break that down. Here's the pumpkin pie American fruit tart for those of you who saw that this year. I did not get any of that. Here's a new one. This is sugar plum. This is plums and vanilla. I guess this is probably one of their kind of wintry seasonal releases. Again, that new kind of artwork, very simple. Not simple makes it sound bad, but very clean, I guess. Still big artwork, that hand-painted artwork from Scott, and then just solid colors. This is kind of the same idea that we're seeing from everybody these days. Just something real bold and simple. Here is extra thick Pocket Watch. Dark fruit Midwest fruit tart, extra thick plus nitro. Yep. They have been playing around with those nitro pours to try to figure out ways to change that texture of the beer and give that extra thick thing that people want from their beers. Here we are, moving into the West Side, and there are a bunch of West Side. This is what happens when I don't do label approvals for a month. We have a lot of West Side coming through. Dry Stout, Irish Style Ale, 4.7%. This is right up my alley. The one time a year I drink Guinness is on Paddy's Day, and I always tell myself, man, I'm going to drink so much more of Guinness this year because I do enjoy it a lot. But I would much rather drink a dry Irish Stout from a local brewery. And if I can get it in cans, it's going to be way easier for me to do that. So, here we go. Dry Stout from Westside. Up next, this is the Key Lime Common Ale. Give me this all day long. I love lime flavor. I love key limes. I love easy drinking beers. Perfect. Absolutely perfect for me. Josh says they have their holiday ale soon. Yes, that was when I was in there the other day. It was in tanks, I believe. This is the Cherry Imperial Stout with cherries added, 11.2% ABV. Another big old beer, perfect for the winter. But again, 11.2%. I need to split these with people. Another one that have to split with people. I assume that this will probably be part of another series again of Imperial Stouts. They did that last year. This is the Mexican Hot Chocolate Imperial Stout. Sure. Sign me up. Smoked Scotch Ale. We know that these guys love their smoked beers. They're the ones carrying that torch loud and proud in town, and I'm all for it. This is a 9.9% ABV Scotch Ale. Celebrate the season with this smoky fireside sipper. Beechwood smoked malt lends aromas of campfire and barbecue to this Scottish-style ale, which has rich malt flavors, baked bread crusts, and dark fruits. Yes. I hope that we see all of these. Again, I should put the disclaimer out before I start this every time I do it. But none of these are guaranteed to come out, and none of them are guaranteed to come out anytime soon. But it gives us a good kind of peek at what we are likely to see in the near future. And some of them we've already seen. This is a strawberry lemon shandy, which super easy drinking. This is funny to go from a smoked Scotch ale to a strawberry lemon shandy. Colin says that the smoked scotch is only available through a certain retailer on the label. Yeah, now I see it. I think we just may have ruined a day from our calendar this year, you guys. There's a little higher gravity label down there. Lemon shandy. Caroline says spoilers. Wooden cask, or Cold Galaxy, cold IPA, brewed with Galaxy hops. And that is it for our label approvals today. So we might have spoiled something a little bit, but we don't know a day. It's still going to be a surprise. Which, by the way, I don't know for sure how they're doing on their pre-sales from their calendars at Higher Gravity. But if you have not ordered yours already, try to order it and see if you can still get one, because it is so much fun, and especially with this weekly show, you know that every week we're probably going to be drinking one on this show. So, and Caroline says at least it's not an ice. I think they have to wait a minimum of like 4 years before they try to ice everybody again. Although that was brilliant when they did it. It will be a lot of fun for me this year because my boss is way more lenient now because I don't have one. I can just start drinking at noon every day if I want to. So I can spoil it every day for you guys during the Advent season. We are already at our time, but I will give you guys some fun insights on what we've been working on the Gnome side of things. I ventured down to OTR today, and sat down with the new team behind the Moreline Brands, the Cincinnati Beverage Company, which was a really, really, really fun conversation. I feel a lot better about it all. I felt okay about it before, but I feel better about it now after the conversation. And kind of getting a little peek into what they're working on. We walked through the entire building down there on Moore Street. He was just showing me some of the stuff that they were still clearing out, and how much progress they had made on getting stuff cleared out. They have most of the production equipment pulled out already and moved over to the new building. Not all of it. The actual brew house is still in there and some other stuff, but the most of the dry storage and stuff is still there. So all of the Little Kings bottles that just came in. Tim says, when can we expect Little Kings again? So I don't want to spoil a lot from the episode, but I will. So if you don't want this to be spoiled, just cover your ears for a second. But he did say that he just, before we recorded today, he was over with their contract partner, which we didn't talk about who it was on the show currently. I think you guys all know. He was over there today while they were brewing the newest batch of Little Kings, which will be bottled back on site in the new facility. He also mentioned that, and not a dig at any of the previous ownership groups or anything, he said that they scrapped the recipe that they were working with before. They hired a guy that was working at Sam Adams, that previously before that had been with Shane Ling for a very long time. So he brewed Little Kings and hired on. They had a guy already on staff at the parent company, which is Sugar Creek. They already had a guy on staff there that had also been with Shane Ling before. So they have several people on staff that are kind of older generation folks that could speak a little bit more about what Little Kings was supposed to be. And they rewrote the recipe supposedly to the a little closer to the original specs of what the beer was supposed to be. So Little Kings will be different in a good way. He also, and I'm spoiling the entire episode here, all the fun stuff, but he did say that we can probably not get excited about some new lime agave and blood orange Little Kings, that probably isn't going to happen again, and that it's I don't think he said it was a bastardization of Little Kings, but that's what I'll say. Also got some fun hints about some stuff coming from Hootie, and just lots of really good stuff that makes me excited. The fact that, yes, this batch of Little Kings is not being brewed back in house, but the fact that it will be bottled in house, that they will have production that far along, does make me feel pretty good, and that we will probably see some actual production happening there in the very near future. But I think he said that you should. Caroline says, if it's not before Christmas, I don't know. My in-laws are going to drink Christmas Eve. He said it should be here before Christmas. Sometime in December, I think, is what they're hoping for. So you should be able to expect Little Kings this year. That's the good news. The even better news is that it's probably going to be really good Little Kings again. So I'm excited about that. I have definitely a soft spot in my heart for Little Kings and some of those historical brands. Really, really pumped about what might be coming down the line from some of those historical brands, especially some of the ones that we don't really know about that haven't been used at all. I mean, there's, I think there's at least 30-something brands under that ownership group. It might even be more than that. I don't know, but the brewery that they are moving into is it's kind of twofold. The production side will be in what is called Felsenbrow, which was the newer side of the building, and then the customer-facing side of it will be in Cliffside. Those two brands I know will eventually see some stuff from that. Tim said, I have noticed that Hootie is now in sticker wrapped as opposed to printed cans. Yeah, that's I don't think that's that crazy. However, it wouldn't surprise me eventually to see it back into printed cans, but it's just so hard to source some of that stuff, especially when you're talking about the kind of production they're at right now with contract partners and stuff like that. It's difficult, especially when they don't really have a facility at all up and running. It's not really a good spot to warehouse stuff. Although it was, I've never seen the old Moorline Brewery there on Moore Street as empty as it was. Our internet's getting angry. My kids must be firing something up here. I've never seen the brewery that empty before, and it was really cool to see it that way, to see how big that building really was or is. They are not staying there at all. In fact, I think he said they will be out of that completely by the end of the month. So, making their way into their new space. There, now my internet looks like it's stabilized. Hopefully that means that everybody is settling down for the night and climbing into bed to watch movies or TV or something. Hopefully. Or maybe they're burning the house down above me and it's bad for my internet. I don't know. But it's probably a sign that I should probably cut the show short here, or not short, but wrap things up and get up there. I want to drink the rest of this beer and go climb in bed myself. So thank you guys for hanging out. Stay tuned. Hopefully, so I have it almost done. I'm home with my kids tomorrow, which usually means I can't get much done at all. There's a whole lot of playing and wiping butts and things like that. But if I can get I need like maybe 20 minutes and I can have the next YouTube video ready to go. So maybe in the next couple days you'll see a new YouTube video. It's not a super long video. I stopped in at Westside to vote on their flight of experimental IPAs, which is now gone off tap, I believe, this week. So you can't even vote on round 2 anymore. It's round 3 will be starting soon. However, the process is the same, so it's still relevant. But so that should be up hopefully soon this week. And then once that's done, then I will start working on the next video, which was from Rheingeist Rare Beer Fest. I haven't even looked at that footage, so I don't know what that video will look like, or if I even got everything I needed to put a video together. That's the downside of trying to make a video at a beer festival, is that sometimes you only get half of the stuff that you need. And the other half, you drink. So we'll see. But thank you guys for hanging out. Tune in next week, because we'll be back at it, and the week after, and the week after. And you know how it goes. I'll try to be more frequent with our label approvals, so we don't use an entire show just to look at labels again. There's a nice little in-between that we could hit of just like a couple weeks worth, so that we have some to review, but it doesn't eat up the whole show. And we'll figure it out one of these days. One of these days. Yeah, thank you guys very much. Make sure you subscribe to all of the stuff and share it with your friends. If you like what I do, you know the process. You go to thegnarlygnome.com/support, and you can support that way, and it helps. It helps a lot to make it all happen and keep things ticking. So for those of you who already do that, thank you. Also, for those of you who have subscribed to the newsletter on the website, the new newsletter should also go out tomorrow, hopefully. So stay tuned for that. And that's just the regular newsletter. The Behind the Gnome newsletter goes out in a couple weeks, halfway through the month. So look forward to that one too. There's lots of stuff coming. Thank you, guys. We'll see you. Everybody have a good night. And hopefully you're going to drink other good things for the rest of the week. It doesn't have to just be on Monday nights. Cheers, everybody. Also, for anybody that was wondering, this Demogorgon does get better as it warms up. The pecans start to pop a little bit more. Still, the salt is kind of hidden behind it, but that, I guess, does show a little bit more too. But yes, the beer does get better as it warms, as most beers do. Most.